Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you here today again for another collaboration with Anne's Goddesses. I'm going to invite her to our discussion. Really looking forward to speaking with you about how you can express your authentic self with art. All right, give me just one moment and I'm going to invite Anne to our discussion. All right. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi, so good
Yes,
to see
Lisa. How are
you.
you today?
I'm so good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very fine. It's a very wonderful occasion tonight that we can speak. So for you, it's today. For me, it's tonight.
Right. I know. Well, I'm just really excited to be able to talk to you. I know we spoke briefly a couple of weeks ago and really looking forward to helping other people that are watching be able to learn how to express their authentic self with art. So I'd like for you to go ahead and get started to just share some tips that you would recommend for individuals in terms of that expression through art.
Yeah, I will be happy to do that. So first of all, I think creativity is a very deep work that we are doing with ourselves. So tapping into ourselves and getting to know ourselves. Everybody out there who's been creative before will know this. It's a very deep connection with yourself. And because of that, we have to work a lot with our belief system. So when I work with leaders, so executives, entrepreneurs who find that they want to who want to express themselves more and inspire others. So no matter in which area they work, they want to have this kind of magnetism about themselves to also inspire others, and that has a lot to do with authenticity and with creativity. To see the eye, to see the world with the eye of what potentials are out there. How can I transform challenges and all this? So the first tip I would like to share is with all of you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing your questions if there are any that come up. So the first one is to allow the thought, I am creative. And because so many of us, so many of my clients say, well, I'm not talented, I'm not creative, everybody told me so, and I now know it's true and all this, you know? So it's just a belief that has been kind of adopted a long time ago. And so the first tip I really want to share is just say it, maybe even say it out loud. What if I'm creative after all? What if it wasn't true that I'm not creative? And this is already it can be very life-changing to just take a couple of minutes and allow this thought and maybe even say it or say it to yourself. So this is the first tip. The second one is to start journaling. And you can do journaling in many different ways. You buy an empty little book, like this one. I always have a journal with me. I also wrote down some thoughts before we went live today. And it's just a habit that you can create. There are many pre-made journals out there. You can also just take a blank little book, and start writing down your thoughts, and also start doodling. When was the last time that you just created a little doodle? It can be so goofy. It doesn't have to make any sense at all. It's just about tapping into yourself and getting into this mode of creating something where nothing was before, and to experiencing this. And it's very powerful, even if it's just a little doodle. So even if it's just a stick figure, it's 100% valuable for you, I promise. And then the third tip I have is stop over comparing yourself to others, because we live in an Instagram world, of course, YouTube, Instagram, the internet, all over social media. We can see very very impressive art all day. We can look at it all day, and it's been made with years of practice and years of preparation. And never compare yourself to that when you're, especially when you're just starting out to tap into your creativity, because this will only make you feel inferior. But I want you to instead focus on your daily successes, even if they were baby steps in the beginning. And I want you to kind of go through your successes and your progress in the evening at night before you go to bed, and maybe even write them down in your journal to just kind of get a hold of it. And maybe when you have a bad day, you can go back to what you wrote down and see that there is actually something. You're not starting from zero, and that you've already achieved so much. Yeah.
Those are some really fantastic tips that you gave. And I think you said so many wonderful things, but one thing that really resonated with me is just that ability to have a piece of paper and to draw something that wasn't there before. And so I think that it's so powerful. As I mentioned to you, we had our conversation, I'm not the most creative person either. I draw stick figures, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not creative, because as you mentioned, there was nothing on the paper before. So there is something that's there now. And I just really appreciate you for sharing that, because it's a great tool. One thing I did want to mention too with journaling, I have this book, and I always try to get, when I buy journals, because they don't last forever, but I always try to get something that has like something impactful on the front of it. Yeah. This one says this girl can, and I got this at some store. I don't even remember where I got it from, but I think journaling, if you have something, if you can find something that maybe has an inspirational quote or something that's motivating for you, that can kind of help you also be able to just get that motivation to just create something and allow your mind to just take a break from whatever it is that you're processing, to just be yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so wonderful to see that you got yourself a journal, and also that you chose one that kind of, the cover inspires you. It makes you feel excited about opening it and creating something, because it's empowering to you. So the color, if the color of the cover should be some color you like, of course, and maybe it even has a print like yours. That's very, very good.
Awesome. Very good. Well, those are some really great tips. I think I definitely am not the artist in terms of Anne's level, because her pictures are beautiful. But I would say that creative part of it in expressing your authentic self is one aspect, is becoming really confident with yourself. Because a lot of times, as you mentioned, we may think we're not creative. Like I thought I wasn't necessarily creative, but having those affirmations and turning it around, as you mentioned at the very beginning of our life, to say, well, what if I am creative? What if what I was told is not correct? And I think that's a great way to build confidence, to help you really express yourself. And I feel like a lot of times you may be surprised in terms of what actually comes out of you being expressive and building that confidence to say, you know what? I can draw this, even if it's a line, like you said, or a doodle. That's a way of you expressing yourself, and the confidence that you have to be able to express yourself that can help you in other areas of your life.
Yeah, that's so powerful and so true what you say, Jacinta. And it's a lot about vulnerability, actually. It's about daring to do something that might go wrong or might go differently than we expected it to be, and just doing it anyway. And that has so much to do with our inner resilience and inner strength. And yeah, it's really at the core of personal growth, creativity, and leadership, because leadership has so much to do with how we lead ourselves first, right? And how we handle our creativity and be our own artist first. That's always my credo that I say. So you have to be your own artist first. You validate yourself, and then you will be inspiring to others automatically, because they can feel this, that it's real and that it's authentic.
Yes, and that is such a great statement, because leadership is complex, but you do have to create that authenticity And a lot of times the authenticity, it will not show unless you really know yourself. So taking that time to really understand what are some of your values, what's important to you to help you present your authentic self, whatever it is. And
Yeah.
we're creating every single day. It's not necessarily on the pen to paper. It can be
Yeah,
creating
exactly. Yeah.
anything, just as you mentioned in leadership.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I want to emphasize this again, what you just said. It's not about painting a painting every day. It's about how you interact with your surroundings and with your team or your people around you, and how you connect with others and how you share your values, also a very big one, and how you tell your personal story and your passion, because you, as a leader, you have to be passionate about what you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the drive to do it. And to give this some extra power, it's so important to have a healthy creative spirit. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good tips. Awesome tips from a person who understands that to its fullest. So I'm curious to know, does anyone have any questions for either one of us as it relates to creating different types of things in life, or really how to express yourself in terms of being your true authentic self? Would like to see if there's any questions so that we can give you as much value as we can and help you just have some takeaways from our conversation today. I don't see anything just yet. So, is there any other tips that helped you maybe to start out on your journey that you'd like to share with everyone here? And then we'll see if there's any other questions, and we'll go through some final thoughts.
Yeah, one other big one is how we handle the time. So how we see the time that we kind of invest into being creative, because many people, of course, many of my clients are very busy. One of the first they say, have time to be creative. I have so 100 other things to do all day. And it makes a big difference how we perceive the time and how we make time and how we give it this, how we give it this time throughout our day. Is it priority is the word I was looking for, how to give it the priority. So we have to get to know ourselves. Are we more creative in the morning, in the evening? When is it possible? There's a little bit of planning necessary. I also created a planning guide for all those busy leaders and busy, wonderful people of you, on how you can create time. It's like a little time machine, I call it, for creativity in your day. And I think that's the basis. You need time and you need space. But space is quite easy as soon as you have decided, because space can be just a little piece of paper, right? Can be just a little side of your desk. You don't need a fully equipped studio. I think that's a myth. To be creative, you don't need, like a big, huge room or anything to start. So yeah, I think that's also very important, to give it a time and just to make this choice, and not be too perfectionistic about anything. Yeah.
I think that's great. I mean, that's really great tip. And I appreciate you for really busting that myth about creative space. It doesn't have to be this just elaborate
No.
up lights
Oh, no, no.
here and there, pictures here, you know, diffusers
No,
there.
of course
It doesn't
that's
have to be
beautiful
all
to
that.
have. Yeah, yeah, of course that's beautiful to have, but you don't absolutely don't need it to start. It should never be a barrier that keeps you from doing it. That would be such a loss to just not do it because it doesn't look like in a magazine or something.
Right, right. And I appreciate you sharing that, because a lot of times we have this perception in our mind of what we have to do to be creative, but it may not necessarily be a reality. We may have everything we need, just like a book and a pen. So we have everything we need just to try to be creative and find that space. And I think also another thing too is just understanding yourself and knowing that time that you need
gaining that confidence that you need to try to build your confidence to do more things. And I have a few things on my Instagram page and on my website to sign up to get more information about that also.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Awesome. So are there any questions that anyone has to ask us? Let me go through and make sure I didn't miss anyone. I appreciate you all for joining today and taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to spend with Ann and I. I don't see any questions at the moment. Or do you have any final thoughts that you want to share with the group?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of all of you guys for joining tonight, because even if you're watching the replay or if you're here tonight with us live, either way, I'm very proud of you for going this first step, because this opens up like a new gate in your life if you want it to be. And I want you to know that you can even start being creative with 30 minutes per day. I also have an online art retreat for so-called non-artists, but for leaders who think they are no artists, but who want to unlock their inner artists. And it's also called Unlock Your Inner Artist. You can, and if you come up with questions, you can find the art retreat on my Instagram bio link, and you can always come back and ask me questions if they come to mind.
Awesome. I appreciate you so much for sharing that. And yes, absolutely. If you're following Ann, or if you're not following Ann, definitely take some time to look at the resources that she has to help you become more creative and really express your true authentic self. If you need some help in terms of building your confidence, I can be more than happy to help you with that as well. I have a few things on my Instagram page, on my YouTube channel, and then I also provide some exclusive resources to individuals that sign up on my mailing list on my website at exciteexcellence.org. So if no one has any additional questions, I would say be creative. All you need is just a piece of paper and a pen. And it doesn't even have, if you don't have the journal, you can get a piece of paper out of your printer or copier. I mean, anything you have, just to really start expressing yourself through art.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to add?
I'm very happy to be here with you today, Jacinta, and I can't wait to see some more feedback from our audience. Yes. And I'm just very grateful for this live with you tonight.
Yes, and likewise. And you have so many informational items that have been just really helpful to me to think about art differently. So would like to collaborate with you again in the future. There's confidence and creativity, we're just really touching the surface of it right now. It is very complex. There's multiple layers to it. So there's multiple things that we could definitely talk about in the future, different aspects of it, just to help anyone that's watching on the replay or watching now just become really creative and build the confidence that they need to express themselves.
Yes, there's so many topics. Tonight is just one of them, and I would also love to collaborate with you again.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, we don't see any questions. I'll give it maybe 20 seconds to see if there's any additional questions. If not, and it's always a pleasure being able to communicate and chat with you, and I really appreciate you for taking time to collaborate with me on a topic that a lot of people are not really talking about.
Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to all that comes.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic day, and everyone that joined us and is watching on the replay, thank you for taking time to spend with us today, and I hope you all have a fantastic morning, evening, afternoon.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.